Dear students, this is the part D of first module, overview of C++ in the subject Object-Oriented Programming through C++ of Semester 3, Diploma in Computer Engineering, Department of Technical Education, Kerala. In this session, we discuss about memory management, heap memory, dynamic memory allocation, new and delete operators, storage classes, input-output stream classes, disk files, input-output functions, etc. with examples. Memory management. The memory size of the basic and user-defined data items are decided at the compile time. It means whenever we are defining a memory variable of basic data type or user-defined data type, the memory size is decided at that time itself, because for every basic data and user-defined data, the size of memory required to store can be calculated by the compiler itself. For example, for an integer data, the compiler knows its size. For a float data, compiler knows the size, and similarly for an array or structure, the compiler can calculate the required memory size for that data. That's why the memory size is calculated at a compile time. When the program needs memory named variables, it allocated and deallocated automatically. That is, when we are defining a memory variable, its memory allocation is done by the compiler itself. Similarly, after usage of that variable, it will be deallocated by the compiler itself. That means both these operations are done automatically. There is no need of separate statements by the programmer to allocate and deallocate memory for ordinary memory variables. These allocations is done in the primary memory area called stack. That is, every named variables for basic and user-defined data items are stored in a particular memory area. That memory area is called stack. Allocation in stack is not flexible, it is fixed. We cannot alter the memory size of each individual data in stack. That is always fixed. We cannot change it. Programmer cannot change it. Another area of memory is called heap memory. For flexible sizes of data structures, this memory is used for flexible sizes of data structures. So, allocate memory dynamically during the runtime. In heap memory, a programmer can allocate memory in the program, but the allocation, the physical allocation, is actually done at the time of program running, because the size of the data structure or data item is not decided in advance. That is decided depending on any situation inside the program. Variable size arrays, variable size structures, data structures, etc. can be implemented only by using this kind of dynamic memory allocation. And all dynamic memory allocation is done in the primary memory itself, but that area is called heap. Allocation in heap is not fixed, it is flexible. That means we can change the size as per our requirement, as per the programmer's requirement. It is not fixed, it can be flexible. Dynamic allocation is done by using pointer variables. So pointers are used to do dynamic memory allocation. Pointer variables means the address of a memory location. So exact allocation is done in the heap memory. Its starting address is returned and that address is stored in a pointer variable, and by using that pointer variable we can dynamically allocate memory, access memory, everything we can done by using pointers. Dynamic variables do not have names. Actually pointer variable has a pointer variable name, but this is actually an address, memory address. It represents a memory address. So we refer this indirectly through pointers. Pointers are the address of dynamically allocated memory. In heap memory, dynamic memory allocation is done manually by the programmer using new operator. So actually the allocation is done during the runtime, but the programmer should write suitable commands or instructions in the program to allocate memory during runtime. Here is a C++ operator to dynamically allocate memory, that is new operator. Since it is an operator, there is no need of header files in the program to work this new operator. So the allocation is not deallocated automatically. The allocation is done by the programmer. Similarly, that memory area should be deallocated by the programmer itself, and for this purpose we are using delete operator. Dynamic memory allocation is done by new operator and deallocation is done by delete operator. So coming to the new operator, if sufficient memory is available, new operator initializes the memory and it returns the address of the newly allocated memory to a pointer variable. So this is happening during the runtime, and at that time if sufficient memory area is available, we can mention the number of bytes to be allocated with the new operator, and if that amount of memory is available, it is allocated at that time, that means at runtime, and its starting address is returned to a pointer variable. This operator returns the starting address of the allocated memory, and this address can be stored into a suitable pointer variable. The syntax is very simple. The pointer variable equal to new data type. New is the operator. Data type, we are in which type of data we are going to allocate dynamically. The size will be calculated and that amount of bytes will be allocated and its address will be assigned to the given pointer variable. Variable must be an integer pointer. Data type could be any built-in data type, array, or any user-defined data type, including structure and class. We studied all these data types earlier. From these examples, you can understand the usage of new operator. Int star p equal to new int. Here int is the data type. Then star p means pointer variable p declaration. The data type of the pointer p variable is also integer. The new operator allocates memory for one integer, that is 4 bytes, and gives its address to pointer variable p. Here another example for new operator, new int 25. We are giving a value within brackets. So 4 bytes will be allocated, and this initial value 25 will be stored into that memory address, and its address will be stored into pointer variable p. Another example for a float variable, and also we are initializing the value 75.25. That value will be stored into memory. 4 bytes will be assigned, and the address will be stored into queue. Another one is array dynamic allocation. Here int 10 means 10 values has to be stored in the heap memory. In dynamic allocation, for 40 bytes is happened here. Its first address will be assigned to pointer variable p, first address. By using pointer arithmetic, we can access all these elements of the array. So first address will be obtained by the new operator, and that address is stored into pointer variable p. If enough memory is not available in the heap to allocate, the new operator returns a null pointer. Sometimes the memory, there may be not enough memory for allocation. In that case, a null operator will be returned by the new operator. Here is an example for validating the successful memory allocation. We are allocating an integer data type and storing the address to p, pointer variable, which is also an integer type. If p equal to null, memory allocation failed. That means if the value of p is equal to null, null represents not a valid memory address. Not a valid memory address is represented by null. Then print a message, memory allocation failed. It's a very simple example for validating the memory allocation. The next one is delete operator. It is used to deallocate the allocated memory. The programmer is allocating memory by using new operator. That memory should be deleted by using delete operator. The programmer should delete this allocated memory because if we are allocating memory for a huge amount of memory space, that memory will not be freed to the operating system. So for other programs or any other applications we are running on the computer, there may be not enough memory to run that applications. That's why it is a good programming practice, and according to the ethics of the programming, we must free all the allocated memory spaces by using delete operator. The syntax is very simple: delete followed by pointer variable. The pointer variable must be a variable which is allocated using new operator earlier. Example, first one is a delete p. P is a pointer to an ordinary variable. Delete square bracket p. It means p is a pointer variable to an array. So a set of consecutive memory locations are assigned to this pointer variable. This delete operator free all these memory locations to the OS. Next is storage classes. This is also related to memory management. It is used to decide where to store data in memory or CPU register. As you know, every computer has a CPU, which is a microprocessor. In a microprocessor, there are many registers. These registers are used for ALU, for various arithmetic and logical operations. And also a computer has a memory. which is primary memory to store the data for processing. This data is taking into the CPU registers, and ALU is executing instructions by taking values from register or memory. So we can store values into memory or CPU register. In C language and C++ language, this is permitted. And it also decides the default initial value. Some storage classes decides the default initial value. Some storage class defines the scope of a variable. Everybody of you know about the scope of a variable, in which area we can use that variable. That is what is called the scope of a variable. Also the life of the variable. When the variable is destroyed, that is what is meant by life of a variable. Some variables are destroyed at the end of the program. Some are destroyed at the end of a compound statement. Depending on its declaration, the life is decided by the compiler. The scope is also decided by the compiler. So all these can be decided by using the storage class also. 4 different storage classes are auto, which stands for automatic. All ordinary variables are by default automatic. If we are not mentioning any storage class, that will be automatically stored into memory. Then register. Register is used to store that memory variable in CPU registers if available. Then static is used to maintain the value of a variable in between function calls. Usually, whenever a function is called, a variable defined inside that function will be initialized with the given value. But a static variable cannot be initialized each time the function calls. It maintains the function, the value of the variable, static variable, in the memory itself. That means that memory variable is not destroyed at the end of the function call. Similar variables are static variables. These are treated as static variables. Then external variables is similar to public variables. The variables defined external to the program. So I am not mentioning more about these 4 storage classes. If you are interested to learn more about storage classes with a lot of examples, you can watch this video in my channel, which is titled Storage Classes. You can subscribe this channel and you can directly go to the storage classes video to learn about storage classes. Next is input-output streams. So what is a stream? Input and output is performed in the form of sequence of bytes, which is known as streams. Then a sequence of bytes treated for input and output are called streams. Streams are usually coming from keyboard to memory, then going to display from memory, going to disk from memory, coming from disk to memory. Every flow of data bytes, sequence of bytes, in between memory and I/O devices, input-output devices, are called streams. An input stream means a flow of data from a device to main memory. The device may be keyboard or disk. Disk means secondary memory device. The output stream is a flow from memory to device. The device may be a display device or secondary memory device. Cin is used for input streaming. That means from keyboard to memory. Cin is provided by the C++ compiler for streaming from input device keyboard. Similarly, Cout is used for output streaming. That means memory to display. These two Cin and Cout are regularly using in C++ program for streaming purpose. Both these Cin and Cout are defined in IOStream library. Cin is used to keyboard to memory and Cout is used to memory to screen. This is a small pictorial representation. Then input and output with the disk files. What is disk file? It is used to store data permanently in secondary memory. As everybody knows, initially every data handled inside a program are stored in the primary memory of a computer. Since it is a volatile memory, we should write this data into secondary memory for permanent storage. Whenever we are storing or saving a file into secondary memory, we must mention a file name. That file name is used to identify that data as a disk file. Many kind of files are there. For every application programs, the file names are different in extension. That is, it is very easy to identify what kind of file is stored in the disks. For example, a C++ program is stored in the disk with extension .cpp. A document file created by word processor, Microsoft Word, is stored in disk by using the extension .doc. Similarly, PDF with extension .pdf. And every kind of files are identified by using the extension. The extension is used by the operating system to identify that file. So every file stored in secondary memory, the data stored in secondary memory is called disk files. Instead of monitor, that means display device, the data write to disk files. Similarly, instead of keyboard, data can be read from the disk file. File names are used to identify data in secondary memory. I have already mentioned it. C++ provides the following classes to perform output and input of streams to or from files. The first class is OFStream, class to write streams on a file. IFStream, class to read streams from files. And FStream is a class to both read and write streams in files. In object-oriented programming, every library functions are defined as the part of a class, and this class can be used to create objects in the program. Every library functions in C++ are stored inside classes. These functions are called methods. A function which is defined inside a class is called a method. We will study more about this concept in the next module. And whenever we are defining an object with any one of these classes, that object can access all the functions inside that class. That is the fundamental concept of object-oriented programming. If we are defining an object with any one of these classes, OFStream class, IFStream class, or FStream class, that object can be accessed any function inside that class. So OFStream can be used for output files. IFStream can be used to create input file objects. Similarly, FStream objects can be used to read and write data into disk files. So all these classes have many functions, and these functions are used to do various file operations. This is a pictorial representation of 3 classes, and all these classes are defined in FStream library. So FStream is a library in C++, similar to IOStream. So for using any one of these classes, we must define FStream in beginning of the program. We must include FStream for using any one of these classes in a program. That is, for creating a file, editing a file, modifying a file. For every file operation, we must use any one of these classes, and for using these classes, we must define include FStream library in the program. So first we are going through IFStream class. It stands for input file stream. Input file stream means we can input data from a file to memory. Input data from file to memory. Used to create stream objects for input. So this stream class is used to create stream objects. Stream object is the object which is used to identify a file, for an input file. The methods, as I mentioned earlier, the functions inside a class are called methods. So functions in IFStream class. First one is open, to open a file object. We will explain the syntax in the next slides. So I am just going through various functions here. Close is used to close a file object. gcount is a function used to get a character count in a file object. Get function is used to get a character from file object. Get line is used to get a complete line of n characters from file object. Then this operator is used to extract formatted input from file object. This operator is used with the cin also for inputting from keyboard. Here this operator is used to input from disk file. Then good function checks whether file object is good. Bad, check whether the file object is bad. Fail, check whether the file object is open, whether the opening is success. EOF stands for end of file. Check whether end of file is reached. The not operator is used to evaluate the stream status. The validation purpose of a stream object can be done by not operator. We can go through all these operators later. Similarly, in OFStream class, it is used to output file streams. Create objects for output files, that is memory to file. If we want to store data from memory into a file, we must use the OFStream class objects. OFStream class objects must be defined to store data from memory to file. Here we can use many functions in OFStream class for this writing purpose. First we have to open the file using open, and finally we have to close the file using close function. This is used to write a block of data into file object. OFStream is used to creating files. To write data into a file, we can use write function. Put is a function used to put a single character to a file object. Less than operator, insert formatted output to file object. It is similar to cout. The operator is mistaken here. You have to correct it as less than. It is the operator used with cout. Good is used to check whether the file object is good. It is already mentioned. Bad is already mentioned. Fail, EOF, not operator. All these last 4 methods are available in the IFStream class also. Then next is FStream class, which is used to input and output operations. That is, if we are defining an object, if we are creating an object with this class, that file object can be used to read and write disk files. Input and output can be done using the same file object. That is the advantage of FStream class. We can read from that file, we can write to that file. Both operations can be used with this object. All methods in iStream and OStream classes are available in FStream class, because iStream class is exclusively for input purpose, OStream class is exclusively for output purpose, FStream is used for input and output. So all these functions, actually it is an inheritance. OFStream and IFStream class functions can be used in FStream class. Then we are going detail into these methods, input and output methods. First one is open, which is very important to open every data file. See the syntax, stream object. Stream object means we are defining a stream object using iStream, OStream or FStream. That object name dot open is the function name, then within brackets file name within double quotation marks, comma, mode. So the mode must be any one of these: in, out, binary, ATE, APP, trunk. The meaning is well defined in the table. In stands for input, out stands for output, binary stands for binary, ATE means at end. That is, after opening the file, the pointer moves to the end of the file. Append is used to add data to existing file. Truncate is used to create a new file. That is, if any data is available in the previous file name, that means if the file name you are given is already an existing one, that data will be deleted. That's why truncate TRUNC mode is used. So all these modes can be mentioned in file opening function. The mode, instead of the mode, we must mention in, out, binary, ATE, APP, trunk. These are the keywords we have to given in the place of mode. The meaning is explained here. Second is close function. Its syntax is very simple. The stream object, which the object should be previously opened one with the open function. Previously opened object, file object, can be closed by using this syntax, object dot close. Then next is put. The syntax is stream object dot put within brackets a character. This is used to put a single character into a file. The object must be opened by using output stream classes, output mode. Then get is for reading from a file. Get a single character from this stream object. The stream object must be opened in input mode. This is operator stream object less than constant or variable. This is similar to cout stream object like stream object less than constant variable. So that value will be written into the object. Then greater than it is similar to in operator. Stream object greater than variable. The value read from file stream object and that value will be stored into variable. This is get line. We can read a complete line by mentioning the number of characters, and that set of characters will be stored into a character pointer, character array. The character array name is given as a parameter. So the object file must be opened in input mode because it is a getLine function. The data is to be retrieved from the file line by line. For example, if you are giving a character pointer as the first parameter and the number of character 80, the first 80 characters will be read into the array. The next getLine function reads the next 80 characters and so on. So we can read an entire file by writing the program and using getLine function. Next one is write. This is a writing function for output file. The output file object dot write character array comma size. So the size is also to be mentioned. The value stored in this character pointer will be written into the file. 9. Read. Read function is the opposite of write. We can read a set of bytes from the file and it can be assigned to a character array. The size is in bytes. Then gcount is used to count the characters in a object. If the file object is stream object is opened in input mode, we can count the number of characters in a file. Then good function is used to check the status of the opened stream object. If the stream object is not a damaged file, this function returns a true value. If the file is a good one and all the data is in readable form, then this function returns a true value. Similarly, bad. If it is a bad, this function returns a true value. If the object is damaged due to any reason, this function returns a true value. The fail is used to check the status of file opening. The file may not be opened due to many reasons. Suppose the file name does not exist, the directory mismatch. So many reasons may be there. If the file is not opened, this function returns true value because it is a failed file. Stream object dot fail. The stream object must be previously opened object. The next one is not operator. It is also a validation operator. We can validate a stream object if it is an existing object. If it is an opened object, we can validate by using not stream object. If it is a bad stream object or not opened stream object, this not operator gives a true value. The EOF can be used to find out the end of file. Suppose we are starting the reading of a file from the beginning. We must continue the process up to the end of file in many cases. So each time we have to verify or validate whether end of file is reached. This function is used to check whether this object reaches end of file character. Whenever end of file reaches, this function returns. From this video, you could understand the memory management concept and heap memory, dynamic memory allocation, new and delete operators, storage classes, input-output stream classes, disk files, and various input-output functions used with the stream objects. Thank you.